Hello YouTube. This video is not only about pretty things, but it's to getting screwed twice in the same day by two different entities. First was Penguins Racing, and that is I was scheduled this past Monday to go to my second track day, and come to find out, last Friday they sent me an email saying that they had already done that track day. They had rescheduled it somehow, but they somehow missed the fact that I was supposed to be there. So unless I wanted to go to New Jersey another time this year, I was bum out of luck. And then I got to thinking about it, and I wasn't very impressed with the way they did things anyways, so I was like, alright, good enough. My tires got beat. I actually found out that it messes with the integrity of the tire so much that you can't even really safely run them down to where you normally can, where the tread's, at that wear indicator. So that was another reason, between that and having the rubber slung into my engine compartment and making it stink like an awfulness. I was pretty much okay with that. And I also found out that I actually do like the street better than the track, at least that one experience that I had. So a lot of guys say once you ride on the track you'll never want to ride the street again. Well, that's not the case for me. And I didn't really learn anything from them as far as riding techniques or anything. As a matter of fact, I didn't learn anything from them as far as that goes. Only track rules and whatnot. What the track corners were numbered and stuff that's not going to really have any effect on me. So, and also having to tape up my bike and taking the mirrors off turned into a fiasco. One of the videos that I posted, you'll see me messing with a mirror, but the audio is real shitty. And what had happened was, after I had taken the mirrors off and put them back on, one of them wound up coming loose. So that was kind of a fiasco day too, just that little inconvenience. So anyways, find the good in that and take it for what it is. The second thing was, I wound up getting terminated from my job Monday. Both the same Monday. I guess it's true, Mondays aren't such a great day, but actually it did turn out good. I wound up leaving the client off and dropped him off, and he went in the house like normal. Come to find out, the home provider wasn't there, so they first put me on paid administrative leave, and then a couple weeks later I found out that I got terminated for that reason. And I guess nothing, the responsibility lies with me. So anyhow, it had actually been going on a while, but there was a lot of stuff where I had called on the home provider because she was messing around with the medications, not handling them the way she was supposed to be. So she wound up firing me from respite way back then, like over a year ago. And nobody did anything about that. I mean, I was literally doing my job and, got fucked there. And then it happened again, and this time my administrator told me to call the state, which I did. And I guess it didn't really turn out very good for anybody, and they wound up figuring out how to get rid of me anyways. I don't know if it was an actual setup, but it pretty damn fishy to me. Anywho, once again finding the good in it, that same day I wound up finding a job on the internet, and it literally pays salary 3 times what I was making working for this place. And it's a job that I know well, and I get to work alone, so it suits me. So there you go. Sometimes you just gotta take shit for what it is and realize you're better than them and walk away. It's usually better. Change most generally is better, whether or not you can see it that day or not. Luckily for me, it turned out a little better than average that day, but there you go. This is actually heading towards the Franconia Pass, and I was just on Route 112, and before that it was 232 through Groton, Vermont, and the Route 112 is out of Woodsville. This road here is actually the interstate they're revamping on I-91. Got some sweet looking mountains up there, and much more to come. The brake technique that I used the other day worked wonderfully. My brakes firmed up nice. When I got my new tires put on the Z1000, they must have pushed them back and put a little air into them, pushed the calipers back, and they just weren't as nice feeling as they were, but now they're right back where they used to be, which is definitely a must. I hate a mushy brake. But that little technique I used there, that works awesome. It's pretty simple and about as trouble-free as it gets. I guess the idea is that, you know, swells everything up and puts stuff back in place, whatever. But it's definitely a fail-safe, you know, it seems to always work. This day here I was actually headed to the Kangamangas, which part of Route 12 is, I guess. And just as I got into Lincoln, there was traffic like I literally had never seen before, so I jumped right on the interstate and headed for home. Up here it actually turns into a single lane going through all these little mountainous regions and what have you. Another thing is when you're cleaning your bike, that's a good time to check stuff as far as panel nuts and bolts and things like that, because you're going over, you know, you should be going over every square inch of the bike. You know, check your chain adjustment. Another good time to lube your chain is when it's warm, and it helps everything seat in where it needs to be more. This is there's actually a gondola you can take, and you can go up to the top of these friggin' mountains. I'd love to do that sometime. Franconia Pass, it's called. Imagine the settlers and shit coming through here. Holy cow. The guy that founded Craftsbury where I live, he actually came like, it must be about 20 miles from Cabot. It was Colonel Ebenezer Crafts, and it took him like 4 days to come to Craftsbury, 20 miles. When you think about driving 60 miles in an hour, it's like unbelievable. Men of true grit, I guess you could call them. You do what you gotta do. This is a pretty awesome rock face right there. I don't know how high it is, but I wouldn't want to climb it, I know that. We actually got some new kittens for one of my sons, Riley, and Mario Jr. because he loves Super Mario Brothers, and Rosalina is the girl kitty's name. They're really funny. They greet me every morning when I come home. I work the late shift, and they're always ready to come greet me when I'm home. Nobody else is awake, so they get all the lovin's from me. Yeah, this is the single lane area. I actually do some Top Gear roll-ons from 60, and it's about probably, it seems like a couple seconds, you'll see at the end of this video, to 100. And that Z1000's awesome for that, man. From 4,000, you're just, it's a bullet train. The responsiveness of the ZX10 is more noticeable. You know, the throttle, there goes one of those slingshots. The throttle response is just right there. And of course you can modulate that a little bit with your power settings, and I've got it in full power right now, so that makes a little bit of difference, but I don't know why you would want anything less. Even when it's rainy out, it's very controllable. That Tenere that I rode, it was responsive, but it was so light in the engine. It was just, it seemed so flawlessly smooth. It was really quite something to ride. I really liked that bike. And it would be so good for the bumps of the Vermont roads. You know, I don't know if I'd want it for an everyday bike, but it would be awesome definitely for a commuter bike. And just something to go out play when the roads are shitty, you know, beginning of the year when there's still grit and salt on the roads and what have you. Or if you wanted to blast down a back road or do a little mountain jockeying that way. Now we're in St. J, getting on the ramp. I always try to go, I'm going slow right here because I want to go around these corners. There's a couple of really awesome ramps getting on and off. This is actually Interstate 93. When you're getting on Interstate 91 just down the road, there's a really awesome corner there. And this is a real nice bowl right here. Unfortunately, that camper was going a little slower than I had expected and wanted him to be going. There's the response of the Z1000 right there. No downshifting required whatsoever. It doesn't matter what gear you're in, that thing pulls wicked. This here is going to be some of my top gear roll-ons. Like I said, when it's warm. There's the sweet, sweet Z Predator. That's that bad bike's name. Enjoy life on two wheels. Keeping it clean. When you think you've cleaned it, clean it again.